Electric car sales have followed an incredibly linear growth rate over the past 10 years. In fact, over the first 5 years, from 2012 to 2017, they grew at the exact same rate that they did from 2017 to 2022. But here's the big but. When things grow at an exponential rate, the grass can look really short and all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and it looks incredibly long. That's what's happening here with electric vehicle sales. And it shows you the disruption of EVs is happening insanely quickly. What I mean disruption is electric cars disrupting internal combustion engine vehicles at a rate which people just don't realize is happening. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. It's great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Sam Evans. I'm the Electric Viking. The share of electric vehicle sales in total car sales jumped globally from 9% in 2021 to 14% in 2022. However, that's more than 10 times the share that EVs had in 2017. More than 10 times. That's according to the International Energy Agency's new EV report, which was just released. Electric says that the IEA's Global EV Outlook 2023 reports that electric car sales grew despite a shrinking global car market. Electric car sales, that's fully electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids, exceeded 10 million in 2022, with most of those being fully electric, up 55% compared to 2021. However, EV sales grew at an even faster rate. Because plug-in hybrid sales are shrinking, EV sales have had to make up the pace. And it means that EV sales are now growing at the fastest point in history. But now, because we're not coming from a small number, we're coming from a big number, the increase is happening much quicker than people realize. The IEA's report says in the Trends in Electric Light-Duty Vehicle section, in the course of just 5 years, from 2017 to 2022, EV sales jumped from 1 million to more than 10 million. 1 million to more than 10 million between 2007 and 2022. Going by these numbers, the electric vehicle adoption rate is going so quickly now that we will hit 100% fully electric by around 2029 if we follow the current trajectory. Remember, the entire global sales worldwide of vehicles is around 75 million. If we're already at more than 10 million today, it will only take another 6 years to get to 100% fully electric. Of course, that includes the elimination of plug-in hybrids. Sure, there may actually still be a small market share of plug-in hybrids in 2029 and 2030. Things may change. That's very possible. But the point here is, it's extremely unlikely there'll be any cars manufactured in 2030 that won't be fully electric, at least plug-in hybrid. More than likely fully electric. Put this into context, right? From 2012 to 2017, EV sales grew from 100,000 to 1 million. 100,000 to 1 million. Then from 2017 to 2022, they went from 1 million to 10 million. That's an incredibly linear growth rate. And it's insanely consistent as well. Based on projections, the IEA reports that globally electric car sales will grow by another 35% this year compared to last year to 14 million, meaning they will hit more than 20% market share this year. More than 2.3 million have already been sold in the first quarter, but the first quarter of the year is always the slow quarter. This rapid growth means electric cars' percentage share of the overall car market will climb to nearly 20% in 2023. The overwhelming majority of electric car sales to date are in China. 60% of global electric car sales last year were in China. Today, more than half of all electric cars on the road are driving around in China. However, this will start to change, obviously, with the insane investment into electric cars and battery manufacturing in the United States that's been committed over the last 6 months. We're going to see a big change in this. Now, yes, EVs will still be sold at insane rates in China, but within around 3 to 4 years, electric vehicle growth rates in the United States will begin to speed up at a rapid pace. Europe and the US are the second and third largest markets for EVs right now. Both saw strong growth, with sales increasing by 15% and 55% respectively in 2022. In the US, more than 320,000 electric cars were sold in the first quarter alone, 60% more than over the first quarter of 2022. So right now, 60% growth rate in electric vehicles in the first quarter of this year versus the first quarter of last year in the United States. That's massive. The IEA expects that growth in the US will continue this year along the same trajectory, with electric car sales reaching over 1.5 million in 2023. That would grow US electric car sales to around 12% market share this year. I think it could actually increase even more than that. The reason being the $7,500 US incentives. Now, if those incentives applied to, say, manufacturers that were making lots of EVs, well, that would be the best way to sell more EVs. And it does. Model 3, Model Y, they're the best-selling EVs in the US. The incentives didn't apply to them last year. They apply to them this year, and this year their cars are much cheaper. Plus, we're seeing a newer version of the Model 3 come out within the next few months. So if you combine the new version of the Model 3 with the fact that cars are much cheaper, plus they now qualify for the incentives, I think we're going to see even more sales of EVs this year in the US than what the IEA is predicting. Thanks to recent ambitious EU and US government policy programs, Europe's Fit for 55 package and the US's Inflation Reduction Act to include the new proposed EPA emissions rule, the average share of electric car sales in total sales across China, the EU, and the US is set to grow to 60% in 2030, says the IEA. Now, I believe it will hit 100%. But hey, I could be wrong. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. The IEA projects for China. Our current expectation is for electric car sales in China to be more than 30% higher than in 2022 and reach around 8 million by the end of 2023, reaching a sales share of over 35% from 29% in 2022. Being that China, the EU, and the US are the world's largest polluters, this growth in EVs is really good news, says Electric, and I couldn't agree more. Unfortunately, the majority of pollution that is actually bad, toxic pollution that is killing millions of people worldwide is coming from automobiles. It's the worst pollution. Now, it's true that there's pollution that's bad from coal power plants, from other kinds of fossil fuel producing areas on the planet, but by far the worst for your health, the stuff that you're breathing in, that the average human being is getting into their lungs, is the pollution coming out of an exhaust. IEA Executive Director Faith Birol explained how a historic transformation of the car manufacturing industry worldwide is going to affect the global oil industry. The trends we are witnessing have significant implications for global oil demand. The internal combustion engine has gone unrivaled for over a century, but electric vehicles are changing the status quo. By 2030, they will avoid the need for at least 5 million barrels a day of oil. The IEA has been historically wrong in their projections. They're always wrong, in fact. They always get it right in the direction they're heading, but their predictions are always an understatement. Always. Almost, I would say 98% of the predictions that I've seen from the IEA over the last 10 years have understated the gains that renewable energy and EVs would make. This is what is happening here. The IEA is saying 60%. They previously said 50, and then they said 40, and then they said 30. They continue to revise their forecasts as EV sales have grown faster than they predicted they would. That's what I think will happen here. I could be wrong though. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching.